Well, good afternoon. It's Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker. And today is the 31st of July, 2024 at approximately 13:35. That's 1:35 p.m. and it's Central Mountain Time, and I'm at home and been home for about an hour, a couple hours maybe, and setting up to do a straight razor shave. At home in the master bathroom, got all my space around me. I got all the hot water I could possibly pay for. And let's introduce the equipment for today. We're going to use the outstanding Boker 14er, as they call it. Beautiful razor. Nice sculpting on the spine. I say sculpting. I guess they call that filigree, don't they? Where they do the engraving like that. And all the gold wash and the Boker. There we go. That looks better. All right. And it's got turquoise blue translucent like scales, got the Boker tree brand on it. And this was honed up on the Dan's Arkansas True Hard, my black and white with gray designs in it. And let's see, what else? Where do we go next? We're going to go to the brush, which is what I sometimes and often use when I get home. It is the Artist Shaving 24 millimeter silver tip Badger set in nickel. And that's just a lovely razor. We'll put that down to soak. And we're going to use the Dovo deep leather. And it's got a nice little ceramic jar that comes with the cork lid right here. Nice ceramic jar. So let's pour this water off and see if I get anything off of it. And last time I was home, I was going to use the Cremo cooling shave cream as a pre-shave, and I set it aside and forgot all about it. I'm just going to use a little dollop there. Okay. Put a little water on that. Had a nice hot shower, had a haircut with my wall clippers. And let's make up a lather. The soap for the Dovo is made by A&E. I promised to tell the story about the foul-ups and aggravations of this last trip. And I did make comment on it when I got back to dispatch and to the yard, and as if it'll make any difference. I've learned a long time ago that it often doesn't. No, I don't want that over there. I want that over here. So the normal load time for the Wisconsin load is 8 o'clock on Friday morning. And you got to be punctual because everybody's got a schedule to keep, and there's trucks in front of you, there's trucks behind you that are going to get loaded. And if you're late and you're not in load, if you're not in line in time, you just get whatever position you get. But here's what happened. So no fault of the preload driver. He had a trailer assignment. He had a location to go get loaded. And so he comes into the yard at his appointed time and hooks up to the trailer that he's assigned and gets his paperwork and heads to the plant that he's going to get loaded at. And while en route, he gets a phone call from dispatch to recall him because what's called the wet line, and that's the discharge line from the trailer. A wet line is a washout of the discharge line and not washing out the entire trailer, which is fine if that's all that is necessary to get the trailer loaded. It's the same product from the same company. It's what we typically call a recycled trailer, which means that it's not a clean trailer. It's not a washed out trailer. It's just a recycled trailer. It's the same product. The residue from the previous load and the previous trip are still in the trailer. And all they do is wash out the wet line, the discharge valve and line, because the product is a class 6 poison. And so when they don't want to have, and so when the guys loading the trailer at the plant, when they go to hook up their hose connection lines, they don't want to expose themselves to any lingering product that remains in that discharge line, which is perfectly understandable. That they wouldn't want to be exposed to a class 6 poison. Perfectly understandable. What's not understandable is how the trailer never had the wet line process performed on it the day before. That process is always supposed to take place the day before the load time. So load time's 8 o'clock Friday morning. They're supposed to have that process and procedure done sometime on Thursday. It don't matter when, as long as they get it done. And so he gets back to the yard. In the meantime, I called and where's the trailer at and so forth. Oh, we've had a problem, which is the second problem in a row from the week before. And so he got back to the yard. They did the wet line procedure. He goes back to the plant, and now there's 3 trucks ahead of him. And so I'm just sitting at home fuming. And so what I did, of course, I stayed at home, during the day. No need to go down to the yard. And until I know he's on the way back. And so I decided to go ahead and go down to my truck. And about 6:30, 6 o'clock, and I called while I was coming back or going down to the yard. And found he was on the way back. And he got into the yard about 7:30. I got down there about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Called dispatch. Yeah, he's back. And so I found the trailer and hooked up to it. But as late as it was in the day, I wasn't going to take off. I was going to drive. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? And so I left out from the yard at 0600 on Saturday morning. And so from the terminal yard in Houston, Texas, to the Luz truck stop at Blytheville, Arkansas, way up in the northeast corner, went through Little Rock, went through Jonesboro, got up there for the night with about 10, 15 minutes left on my drive clock. And that made for about a 10.5 hour day, approximately. And from Blytheville, the Luz truck stop at Blytheville, Arkansas, made it to curbside parking at Portage, Wisconsin. And so I made it in 2 days, about 630 miles each day, approximately. And that's not a fun day. It's just hard driving. Hurry, 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 hurry. Am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? And that's not fun. That's not, that's why. And I can't figure out why they keep having these problems on this load. And of course, then there's no stop at Herculeum to do a Sunday morning shower and shave. When I got to the Love's Truck Stop Saturday evening, there were already like 10 people in line for the shower. And the Blytheville Love's Truck Stop is about 65 miles north of West Memphis, Arkansas. And it's not the cleanest. It's a big one, but it's not the cleanest. And it's got 110 parking places, and it's always jammed up. And the reason is you got people coming up out of Little Rock, West Memphis, and points at Jackson, Mississippi. Or coming south out of St. Louis. And it's just right, it's right in the middle of a major traffic area. And so it's always busy. Your razor's wonderful. I'm going to step away for a second. I'll be right back. Had to get my cup of water. So I was there on curbside parking Sunday night, as I usually am, because of the 2 long days of driving. And so my return trip after delivery, I still had plenty of hours. I started my day on Monday morning like I always do, right there at curbside parking. And then I always go from Portage, Wisconsin, when I'm done with delivery, all approximately 600 miles south to a very large truck stop in Steele, Missouri. And again, from Steele, Missouri, to a very large truck stop, 600 miles. to Shepherd, Texas. And it's important to maintain that schedule to get back to the yard by Wednesday morning. Because I want the next Friday's load going back out to the same place, which I do, number 15 in a row for coming Friday. But I almost have, because of the problems and not hitting my usual schedule, truck stops on the way up, like Herculaneum, no shower, no shave on Sunday. And so you saw my last video at Normal, Illinois. At Normal, Illinois, approximately 12:30 in the afternoon. I was still on the clock. And so I know there's drivers that'll go into a truck stop and grab a 10, 15, 20-minute shower and a fast shave with a cartridge razor. They certainly aren't using straight razors, I can tell you. But that's not me. I need my 2 hours, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes for a shower and shave, and if I'm going to video, of course. And I don't want to burn up that much time while I'm on the clock, because you just might have a real need for that time, an actual emergency. And you need that time for other purposes. But nonetheless, that's why I didn't take a full shower. All I did was shave, because I just couldn't stand that 3 days of growth on my face anymore. So that's what happened. Now, I've had a couple other issues that arose that didn't help my frame of mind at all, just compounded problems. So Saturday morning at 0600, as I was getting ready to depart, to set up my electronic clock onboard computer, I've got to log in. I've got to use a username and password. And then once I get in, there's other things. I got to put in my load number, my trailer number, my tractor number, my personal company ID number. And the stupid machine wouldn't log me in. Invalid username and password. It's never changed. What's wrong with it? I don't know. So being that late already getting away, I was in no mood for any fooling around, wasting of more time. So I just left. I'm not on the clock. Now, what I intended to do when I left out that gate was to run paper logs, which they say you can do in an urgent situation. Well, who was I going to call at 6 o'clock in the morning to get that thing fixed? Was I going to delay my departure and wait till somebody came in at 10 o'clock on a Saturday? No. So I left. Now, I did start calling people about 10 o'clock. Here's what happened. Here's what I'm doing. Don't tell me anything other than how to fix it. You shouldn't have done that. Yeah. But in the meantime, I was not running legally. I was not running as what they call an electronic logging device. And that's tied in, the computer on board is tied into your odometer, so it can actually tell how many miles you've driven from point A to point B. And because anything that requires manual input of numbers can be forged, can be falsified. Which is exactly what electronic logs are designed to prohibit: falsifying of logs, which is a long-standing practice because trucking companies don't pay anything. And in order to make money, truck drivers will run falsified logs. And so that electronic logging device mandate has been in existence for the last 3 years. So that's your government at work for you. U.S. Department of Transportation, et cetera, et cetera. And so I finally, on Monday, now the guy I talked to on Saturday, he was not helpful at all. And my usual safety manager finally got a hold of him on Monday morning. And by then I had kind of figured out there's a corresponding website that goes with our software that logs, that monitors or does the electronic logging device function, except it's not connected to the odometer in the truck, and it can't tell by motion how many miles you've driven. It can't. And so it's like using a paper log, except it's electronic form, and you got to punch in all these numbers. And all of my starts and stops and times that I started and stopped were accurate, but it wasn't calculating the mileage correctly. And I didn't know how to fix that. And neither did my safety manager, so that didn't help any, but at least he understood what I was doing and that I was attempting to do the right thing. And I talked to him again yesterday. And I said, Bill, I'm just not going to worry about it. Trying to get those numbers right. And then last night, I fooled around with it some more and figured out. So my log from yesterday was 100% accurate. I figured out the right place to put the right number so it would correctly and accurately calculate the number of miles driven for the day. Okay, good. But I told my safety manager, I said, I am not going back to those previous 3 days of logs and edit them. Now, a driver is supposed to maintain the logs for and make them available to a DOT officer for 8 days. The previous 8 days worth of logs need to be available if you're asked by a DOT driver to present them. And the likelihood of that is almost zero. Again, tax dollars at work and mounting debt of states' budgets, there's just not as much commercial vehicle inspection, log verification as there may have been at one time. They'll certainly check them if you have an accident. Let me see your logs. Or you get stopped for a ticket of some sort. Let me see your logs. And so you've got to present them typically on an onboard computer. That's accurately functioning, mounted in the cab of the truck. Whoops. And so the first guy I talked to that I said wasn't much help, he said, well, he's the one that pointed me in the direction of the software's website where I could log in under my username and password, the same as with the onboard computer. And I've used that before for other purposes. I've got to keep a log of my activities even when I'm off duty at home, and I have to certify my logs every day, even when I'm at home. And that's how I do it, is through that software website on my cell phone. So last night, my last night on the road, I figured it out. Close the barn door after the horse comes back. I told myself, I'm not going to go back and edit those. I just don't care. Just don't care. Well, if you get stopped, and that's all safety managers know to say. Well, if you get stopped and get inspected, I have never, in 14 loads to Wisconsin, I have never been inspected. Of course, that's one load a week, so the last 14 weeks, that's, almost a full quarter, isn't it? And the the weigh stations in Arkansas, Illinois, they don't do inspections anymore. Even for them, things have gone electronic. You roll into a weigh station, you roll across a scale, they can read what your weight is. If you're placarded with a hazmat like I almost always am, they'll take note of that and they'll type something on their computer, but I just keep rolling. So, and it's like we're always taught, keep your truck clean, keep your truck in good order, and don't do anything that will unnecessarily draw their attention to your truck. Then they will call you in. Why'd you call me in? Well, it seems like you got a lot of rust around the bolts on your wheels. We don't want one of those wheels come flying off now, do we? And, there's truth to that. Those things get loose and start flying, that's a missile waiting to kill somebody. So that was the second problem, the onboard computer and the logging device. And then there was a third problem. Day before yesterday, driving from Steele, Missouri to Shepherd, Texas, I was clearly developing a wheel out of balance, something, and bump, 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 bump. You know, at first you think it's the road and the imperfections of the blacktop, of the asphalt, of the concrete, and you're bum, 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 bum. It's just a rough road. But then you get a good patch of road and it's still there. So now that sounds like a wheel out of balance or alignment or something, and it ain't right. And so that was the day before yesterday. And yesterday, same thing, kept going, thump, 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 thump. And sometimes, but even worse, it was jarring the truck. And so I got to the shop this morning after I checked out from dispatch. And I called ahead and told them what all was going on, and they were ready for me. But I hadn't told them about the wheel or the tire yet. And I got the shop manager and I said, come take a look at this. Well, last night, after my driving day was over, I went and inspected the front steering system, started on the right side, and you should have seen that tire. The wear and tear on the tread was very uneven and very deep into the tread. And on the last section of tread on the outside of the tire, not the sidewall, but right above the sidewall on that last outer edge, it was all the way down to the steel belting. My shop manager says this morning, he says, you're lucky to have made it back without a steer tire blowout. Okay. Oh, that feels good. That's as good as it's ever been. And right underneath the chin, right there. That was delicious. That was wonderful. Anyway, so they've got to fix the onboard computer. They've got to fix that tire and suspension. And hopefully it's just as easy as changing a tire. It may require an alignment. And I said to him, I said, now, I've already been assigned my next load for Friday. He said, the things you're talking about, Will you get them done? Do you think you'll get them done? I said, I'll be in for the rest of today and tomorrow. Oh yeah, we should be able to, he says. Oh, okay. Of course, that was music to my ears. Who was I watching last night? Just feel those whiskers popping underneath the blade. Well, my wife smoked up a brisket on the pellet smoker yesterday. And I'm looking forward to some delicious beef. Yeah, some beef cow gave us all so we could enjoy delicious brisket cooked in a traditional Texas fashion with mesquite or hickory pellets, I don't know which. On a big steel smoker. And if you've never had Texas style barbecue, you don't know what you're missing. And some cow gave their all so that I can enjoy brisket this afternoon and tomorrow. Well, I did get caught up on some of the videos last night and night before last as best I could with Martin shave tests, and the Cajun Blade, Eric. Oops. Who else did I watch? Seems like I'm missing somebody. Sean didn't have a new one. Now, at the end of the video, after the head shave, I've got a couple of little things to show off here. So don't run away. And Bill had one earlier, maybe over the weekend. I think, didn't you, Bill? I don't remember. Just wonderful. Okay, I think that's going to do it for the face shave, and it was just absolutely wonderful with this new Boker 14er 8/8 blade razor with translucent sapphire scales. It's gold. It's just a beautiful razor. And honed up as sharp as can be on an Arkansas True Hard, not a translucent, not a hard black surgical black, but a True Hard from Dan's Whetstone. And it's just a beautiful edge and razor, and just fabulous, just fabulous. All right, let's move on to the head shave and get it out of the way. I'll take this little interval here. One of the viewers, Michael in Tennessee, He talks to me fairly regular, calls me, likes to talk about stones and honing and so forth. And he sent me this. It's a Japanese natural, and I've not used it, and I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get around to using it. Maybe today or tomorrow. I'd like to, but I don't know. I'm so tired. I'm going to go curl up, eat some barbecue, and curl up. There's the back side. Oh yeah. It's got a smell to it, almost like a caudicle. That earthy, delightful smell that cauticles have. And so we will look at this at some time in the near future. Let me say it a different way. Hopefully the not too distant future. And also he sent, and he presented these as gifts. And so for that, I thank him very much for these items. But I think this is going to be about a 2x7 caudicle. And he says he's got a bunch of stones in his collection. Japanese naturals, cauticles, Arkansas stones. He says, I got buckets and buckets of stones. And I look forward very much. I don't have a Japanese natural. He and I have talked about how to work with it. And I will certainly, show an interest in the Japanese natural. But I love cauticles. And I want you to look at this. This is a natural. This is a natural with the Belgian blue whetstone on the back, but that's the natural backing out of the mine from a caudicle. And I love this stone. I love this stone. And so we'll see how it performs in the coming not too distant future. But I want to eat some brisket. I want to go squeeze on my wife a little bit, and I want to take a nap. I'm so tired. And, I did 4 10.5-hour days back to back for this trip. 2 days up and 2 days back. Well, except the 1 hour this morning, hour and 10 minutes. And so that's just a pinch on the 3rd day back. But it's still a lot of miles and a lot of time and not getting much rest. You got to be able to sleep good in a truck. You're no good if you can't sleep and get your rest. The truck is always vibrating. The truck is always, and then there's the trucks that park beside you, and God help you if you have a reefer truck pull up beside you to park at night, and that thing has got that extra diesel engine on the trailer for refrigeration purposes, and that just thing, and it's right even because it's mounted to the front of the trailer, which is at the back of the tractor. And you know what else is at the back of the tractor? Your sleeper berth. Absolutely horrible. But you put on a little music, some of that nighttime sleep music that I like, and strangely, even in the sound of a rumbling diesel engine, there's a rhythm that you can find and help put you to sleep. All right, we're going to use the Fox cutlery that we've used the last two videos for the head shave. And both of these razors will go back into regular rotation, and I'll move on to some other stuff for the next video, which hopefully will come from Herculeum. I'll probably stop there. The difference between the two, the one at Mousette Road on the Illinois side of St. Louis on 255, the Herculeum, it's only 40 miles over there, and the Herculeum truck stop is a newer truck stop. It's got fine hot water for the shower. It just doesn't, and the one at Mousette's the same way. And so what's the advantage other than the 40 miles? And I say none. So it's Herculeum's a nicer truck stop. And so I'm going to go there for Sunday, assuming everything goes as it should according to plan, which lately I can't say so much about. This little Fox cutlery razor is plenty sharp, very sharp. Now, if I remember correctly, this was finished on the Zulu Gray a couple years ago. Oh, just wonderful. Well, I can't say that Cremo did much at the beginning for a little pre-shave. It was just a little something to put on. I'm not too concerned about lines and perfection right after a haircut. The hairs are so difficult to see and will be easier to see come my Friday morning shave, which I usually do not record because I'm getting ready for work, and unless I've got some special something, like last week was the new Boker after honing it. So that was kind of special. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't get my neck shaved until Monday afternoon. Well, I'll say this about the Dovo soap made by A&E. My opinion has not changed. Of course, I say that every time. I'm not a big fan of it, but I've got it, and so I'm going to use it. I got both the, now the scents are fine. The deep leather, the Berlin Barber, and Citrus Land. Okay. So we're done with the Fox cutlery, little 5/8. Nice little razor. All right. We'll get the brush to start soaking to clean it out. Let's do some Ozma alum block. Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to hide my boker. No alum around the boker or the razors. Ain't going to do it. Oh, that's wonderful. Of the 3 shaves with the new boker, this one is easily the most irritation-free with the alum. I got that little spot there, got another little spot under here, but that's about it on this shave. And they turned out to be nothing. Just, that's wonderful. Okay, set that there. Do a little pat down. Do not want alum near the razors. Especially as one as nice as that boker. So we're going to put on some Lucky Tiger. Nice citrus smell. And I forgot to grab some aftershave, but we got it right back here in the closet. And I think I'll go with some Pinot Lime Sec. What's the Sec stand for? I don't know. Eau de Cologne. Okay, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. So, Bill M. and Lukey3262 and Martin Shave Tests and Dapper Shaves and Sean Stablefeld and Eric at the Cajun Blade. Those are my guys. Those are the ones that I watch. We reciprocate, and there's a lot of fun. I enjoy their videos and conversations from them. And Michael, I want to thank you for the stones, and we'll get to them in due course when I feel a little better. I'm wore out to a frazzle, and so that's it. I'm done. I'll see you down the road, hopefully from Herculaneum on Sunday. Bye.